So we go to the diner, and there's actually something I wanted to talk about is she gives him the tiger's eye. Do you remember that scene when they're sitting at the diner, like right before he gets the call saying that the dad cancer thing is fake?
Nikki gives him the
Yeah,
rock, right?
the
The
rock.
triangle-ish kind of triangle. Yeah.
So she gives him the tiger's eye pendant, which I think is really weird because it doesn't get called back. Like, there's never a point in the movie where they discuss it again. He's never wearing it. So the only thing I could think of is this kind of ties back to like Bear's behaviors becoming, or Bear's thoughts and behaviors becoming Nikki's actions. So he was going to get her a crystal necklace. She gets him a tiger's eye pendant. Kind of that he's just controlling her in one way or another, whether he realizes it, that all of her actions are kind of like what he tries to give her.
Mhm.
And they do have
Yeah,
a
I'm
very like
disturbed.
loving montage of like all, it's like all the good days that they have, and they're like loving and caring and like
Where they speak forward
cuddling
their
on the
relationship, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
cuddling on
Hmm.
the couch, and she's kind of creepily looking at him, and like, but he seems to be getting by just fine for a while. I don't know how long it is, but at least a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then things start getting more off for some reason. But why do they shift? It's like they were bad at one point. They were bad at the first. She doesn't like getting called out in a lie because when she gets called out as faking the cancer thing, she goes into freak out mode and no, 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 no. But then things just kind of get somewhat normal, or we just don't see the bad things happening.
Yeah. The moment that really kind of affected me that I thought was well done is when he kind of gets freaked out and he tries to call the customer support and they ask him, "Do you want to talk to her?" And
Or she's just
I
screaming.
I just love that they don't expand on it. She's just screaming her lungs out, and that's it. And there's nothing else. I just love it because I like that they don't chew it out for the audience. They just know like she's living in hell. She
Yeah.
like the highest that to her that's like living hell. She's just screaming all the time.
Yeah. She's just trying
Uh,
to get out.
yeah.
Yeah, that was very unsettling. I mean, she has a similar moment when Bear says he wants a boys' night. So she's in the shower. He says, "Oh, it's just
Gosh.
the boys." And then you hear that scream again. And at first I thought, okay, this is entity Nikki freaking out, losing her mind. And then for a second I was like, what if it's not though? What if it's just back to normal Nikki and she just lost control for a second. And then we're back
Hmm.
with Nikki just kind of screaming, just like the phone call. It's like Nikki's always trying to regain control the whole movie.
It could be. It could be, right? Because we don't see what's happening. Did she lose control, or was it just her going crazy because he's about to go have a boys' night out, right?
And why
Yeah.
does she lose control? Is Nikki able to like do something to regain that control? And I kept trying to tie it together to like, was there like a very serious, like maybe it's when the entity is like really going against Nikki's natural instincts and it's like getting tired, like it's worn out. And then the real Nikki can come back for a second because when we see the scene where they're all at the party, she kind of like flips out, loses her mind, screams at everybody, and
Hmm.
then real Nikki comes back. And then the other time is when entity Nikki is sleeping. So, like, she's obviously tired from being a psychopath and
Yeah.
she's finally getting rest. And then real Nikki gets to come out again. It's almost like I don't really know exactly what's causing the switches, but my guess is that it's when the entity's like having trouble, like it's like overusing itself.
Yeah. Oh, it's just she's always fighting, and then sometimes she finds a space where she can get out,
Yeah.
right? Sort of
Even in
push
the
the entity
last
out of the way
scene
for a moment.
with like the brick to the head, I think that was real Nikki doing that. I think that was her popping back up because the entity was having so much trouble like controlling that emotional moment that Nikki got back real quick. I think every time she tries to kill herself, it's the real Nikki, not the entity, with the exception of the knife scene.
Wait, you're talking about the brick scene where she broke the car's glass and
No,
did
no,
that
no,
thing
no,
with the
no. The
brick?
one where she's it's like the very final conversation they're having together. When they're in the we're jumping really far ahead. When they're in the living room and she's already killed Sarah and like everything's going to hell, she smashes herself in the face with a brick.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
And just like
okay.
the bottle, like when she stabs herself in the eye, I think that's
Yes,
real Nikki trying to kill
to kill
whatever's
herself.
controlling her. Yeah.
Yes. she wants to kill herself because she was asking him, "Hey, kill me, please."
Please, please. The thing that
Yeah.
I think's really weird about that scene is that she's just so nice, and all we've seen right now is like she's screaming and she's freaking out, and like anytime she regains control, she's losing it. But that scene, she's very sweet to Bear, even though Bear is pretty much like, what's wrong with me controlling you to love me? Like, it's like, why
Mm-hmm.
is this so bad just because you're with me? And she's like, Bear, I've never been with you. And she's being so kind, even though why? I mean, she knows that he's responsible for this.
I think it's because when she typically appears randomly and aggressively, that's when she's in that fighting moment with the entity. So maybe her emotions while fighting with the entity, trying to get her voice out, are very like ragey, and she's high on adrenaline herself, and maybe she's really mad, but she didn't want to wake up the entity, and maybe she tried a different approach. But I think she also said, "I don't want to wake her up, the entity." So
Well, maybe
yeah.
she also is like trying to cater to how she normally talks to Bear, because normally that's how she would speak to him, is like sweetly and
Mm-hmm.
softly and like
Mm-hmm.
almost, could be flirty. It's not, but something more like that. So maybe she thought, hey, maybe I can manipulate this situation a little bit. If I act like I used to act, maybe he'll, get me out of this.
Ah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. That one is hard to say. I think she was pretty sincere there.
I think
I
she was
think that was
sincere.
her real self.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
Creepy walk. You remember when she's running around and being scary? We
where
gotta
was that?
call we gotta call another cat moment out. So when she's wearing the sweater, sitting in the corner, and she tells him to go back to sleep, she goes and gets the flowers and puts the flowers in front of her face. Do you remember this scene?
Wow. Yes. And she said it's
She goes,
uh-huh.
for Sandy. And then she puts them on the table. Like that's when she like snapped back to normal entity version, less
Mm-hmm.
crazy entity version. So it's another callback to the cat. Why does she keep doing this? Like, why is the cat getting brought up every 5 minutes?
I wonder if it's because, like you said, she wants to make him, the entity is obsessed, right? And with the bear, and the entity wants to make bear love her. And maybe she feels like, hey, if I'm gonna be nice to the cat, he will
Okay.
appreciate that I'm so
I
nice to something precious of his. So that's how she's trying to maybe relate
I
to him
would
and win him over again.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that in both that and the
Except
memorial,
feeding the cat.
with the exception of like her kind of telling him like, why did you throw it away? Like that's the part where I think goes against that and goes more towards
And
like,
feeding the cat. Feeding the cat.
well, let's talk about feeding the cat. Who put the cat in the sandwich?
Who put the cat in the sandwich?
Is it Nikki or is it the entity?
What would motivations of Nikki would have to be to put the cat in the sandwich?
Okay, so
Just to frustrate him?
we agree that Nikki's not like that, right? Nikki wouldn't do that to be mean because she's sweet to him, even when she has the conversation when
Yeah,
sleepy entity is happening.
yeah.
So I don't think she's being malicious towards Bear. She's nice to him in every moment we see. So I think it's either the entity doing it for some reason, which I can't understand, or it's Nikki doing it and she's trying to let Bear know this is the cat. Like the cat is what's controlling me right now. And then she says on the little sheet of paper, she says, verdict? Cat? What's the verdict
There
on
was a
cat?
question mark, right? There was a question mark, yeah. I thought if there wasn't a question mark, it just said, what's the verdict? And then comma cat. It's like the cat is asking what's the verdict. Right? But there was a
Yeah.
question mark. Yeah.
So I just can't see any like motivation towards why would the entity cook the cat? I mean, especially because it would have been old by that point. Like, I don't think it would have thought that was food. I did think about, is there something with
Hmm.
cats eating each
May
other if they died? I don't know.
Or maybe because she's like, hey, he loves the cat. He loves the cat. Bear loves the cat. So let me put what he loves in the sandwich, which is the cat. So she just make a cat sandwich. because he
Now,
knows he loves his cat.
here's another thing that I think goes into the theory that Bear is in control. I think Bear makes everything happen. So the first conversation we have, Bear controls her. He's saying lines like it would be in his own head. My cat just died, this and this, which is why she sounds so weird. So we get to, again, the nice, good relationship part. That's when Bear kind of gives up and he's like, oh no, everything's good. I'm happy, and then their relationship is happy. But I think as things start to get crazier, it's kind of like the thing that happens, when you fear the outcome more than the outcome is actually scary. Like you're so worried about what's going to happen. Like, oh, I'm going to have a job interview and it's going to be total crap and they're going to hate me and like it's going to be
Hmm.
awful. So I think every time Bear's anxiety is getting the best of him as far as like, what's Nikki going to do next? He thinks, what's the worst thing that could happen next? And then that happens because he's already thought it. So I think that's when Nikki starts really losing it. Like, I don't know if he necessarily made the cat sandwich for himself. That part doesn't really check out so much, but I do think he might be impacting the results of like how she's behaving.
I think I know how we're gonna call this episode. We're gonna say obsession. Let's talk about the cat plus the other thing.
Yeah, I think there's something to be
Good.
said. I think it could be the cat.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. There's a lot of stuff I haven't thought about, man. That rabbit hole goes deep with the cat and all of that. Yeah. It's fun when we break it down that deeply. Actually, it's really cool. Gosh. Okay. So what's the next? Let's keep going forward, right?
So let's talk about creepy smiles. That part threw me a little bit. Like when she, oh, is this good? Then she makes her little smiley face and just kind of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
becomes a statue. I didn't really know exactly where they were trying to go with that, or if it was just, oh, hey, she's making a creepy face. Audiences are going to hate that. But I think it ultimately comes back to like whatever this thing is, it seems to struggle trying to be human and figuring out how to act. So like it's always kind of trying to pick up on like, what do I do to be human? What is it supposed to be like? And then testing things out until
It's
one
almost
thing
like a
gets messed up.
sociopath. It's almost
Yeah,
like a sociopathic entity. And
yeah.
the part where it's really clear is when they're playing the Jenga, and after she goes crazy, right? She says, "Hey, I was just kidding, guys. I was just kidding." And when nobody's laughing, she switches her tactic, the entity. Like, okay, well, I'm not kidding, so deal with it, right?
Just
Or
kidding.
whatever.
I'm not. Yeah. And then she's like, yeah, I'm totally serious.
Yeah, that's like sociopathic. Yeah, that was a good moment.
Yeah, her
Okay.
little frowny face and pulling Sarah away. I mean, that was awesome.
The expressions were good and they were creepy. I enjoyed that part. But I think out of all the moments where the look lingers, I actually enjoyed the part where he's talking to his friend in the music store, right? In the sort of middle beginning of the movie. He's explaining to his friend, Ian, right? That she's like all over him and that they're dating. And she's at the cash register and she's out of focus. And she just turns and she
You
just
can just
keeps
tell
looking in
she's
that
always
direction.
looking. Yeah.
And it's so suspenseful because you don't know if she's gonna go crazy and just run up and try to kill. Like at that point, you don't know if she's gonna be jealous even of Ian, and she may just run up and kill Ian. That's what I was concerned about, right? That even that could happen. Like, oh, he's taking attention away from my love, so let me just kill everybody that takes attention away of my love, right? The bear. So I love that part that it was out of focus too.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think what's so funny is like if we think with the theory that Bear's actions kind of make Nikki crazier, so Bear's thoughts make Nikki crazier, really the things that give him those horrible thoughts of like how scary could she be? Up until this point, the only thing she does is she like screams, she walks around weird, she's just kind of
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The party is when she first gets really violent because all of that thing happened. She, makes a big spectacle over, you're never going to have this. Like, this is so special and you're going to die, like, lacking this love in your life. And then she wakes up and breaks the bottle, sick, stabs herself in the face a couple of times. And this is where Bear, like, really is afraid. Like, you can tell he's, like, sitting back in his seat and he's just kind of like, oh my gosh, how am I going to handle this? What's everybody thinking about right now? And this is, like, where I think he really first started to, like, go from a little bit afraid to, like, She could kill me if she wanted to.
Yeah, and that moment when like you have to kiss the person to your left, right? And I was like, bro, you know she's obsessed with you. So why you're even pondering that, right? You gotta say, what is it, truth or dare? What's the game they were playing? I forget. But it's like,
It's like you do the thing or you drink. So all
so
he had to
just
do was
drink.
take a drink.
Why is he considering it? He's making her angry. He already knows she's crazy. She just
I can
acted in the bathroom like a psycho when he said it's a boys' night out. So why is he there, like thinking what to do to kiss her, not to kiss her? Just drink quickly and move on, move on, right?
I'll tell you why. I know exactly why. You want to know?
Why?
For the plot.
Oh gosh, that's tough. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, clearly anybody would have taken a drink, but like we want to see what happens. And maybe Bear wanted to see what happens. Like he was like, how far is she willing to go? Like how obsessed is she with me? Like what's she gonna do if I consider this? I don't know. I think he's a little bit of a secret masochist. I think he wants to see things, maybe not to the point where they go, but he wants to
Maybe
see how
he
far she'll
loves
take
it.
it.
Maybe he loves it.
He's a little sick.
You know that even that whole moment you were concerned that she's going to go crazy and start killing people, and I think that's what they did well. They established a character that could go like ham, could go crazy at any moment. So any moment technically keeps like every second keeps you on the edge of your seat because she can go crazy over anything, right? And that's the brilliance of it. They established a character that's just psychotic, and even that moment is like I'm already afraid. Like I'm afraid at so many turns, points of the movie that she's gonna kill somebody, attack somebody, scream. So even when it's calm, you're still not fully relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no calm with her anymore. Every moment is a potential she's gonna freak out and lose her mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think for me that start from the first moment she popped out when they were making out. From that moment, I was already concerned. Like
Yeah,
that could happen at any moment.
yeah, you never know when it's gonna come back.
Mm-hmm.
We skipped over a little part before the party, so she essentially is waiting for him in the room and then not moving, vomits all over herself, pees
Mm-hmm.
herself, who knows to what level. But she's just kind of like gross, stuck there, waiting for him to return.
Yeah.
And I have heard people say comments about like she clearly has kibble in her vomit, like she was eating kibble and that's what's on the floor. And if you do look at the throw up, it looks like little, looks like kibble almost. It looks like dog food or cat food. However, you're faking throw up for a movie. It could look like absolutely anything. It's not easy to mimic throw up. I'm sure they just put a whole bunch of stuff in there. But what did you think about how she acted when he leaves?
Well, the first thing, it was weird how he turns around and the whole door
The duct
is
tape.
duct tape. And even that put me on edge because as he's undoing the door, I wonder if she's gonna like stop him, like in the way when they put the door, the hand on there with the close.
Mhm.
So I was surprised she let him leave. But that was so awkward and scary. And yeah. And I didn't know exactly what was gonna happen because I thought maybe she would just stay in that exact position and wait for him because she held that prolonged smile. Or maybe she will. I kept hoping because they lingered on the shot for a while after he left on her. I thought at some point maybe the smile will disappear and she will start moving, but they just decided to hold on her smiling, right? And she just was stuck in that position throughout.
Well, I
So,
think that also goes with, if Bear isn't there, does she even exist? Does anything she does matter at that point? Because I mean, her whole purpose in life, like with her level of obsession, is like, I have to please him. I have to like do things for him. So it's like, if he's not there, if he's not witnessing me, am I even a person? Do I
yeah.
need to exist? Do I need to be controlled? Or do I just
Hmm.
go into shutdown mode while I wait?
And the entity in that case kind of had just shut down, right? Because the alternative that it could have just went after him. But that's what makes it unpredictable, right? You don't know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. But I
But
mean,
I think I would
however,
have. I think I would.
it does chase him down later. I mean, like it wasn't just
Yes.
in standby mode at that point.
Yes. Maybe as obsession grows deeper and deeper. Yeah, obviously.